All right, guys, welcome to Wayne's World Garage. It's been a while since we've been to the sawmill. Actually, we come at least once a week, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week. It's been a while since I did a video, so we'll do a video today, hopefully sawing some logs, making some boards. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, subscribe and tell your friends. Take care. All right, we've got some smaller logs here. These are all 8-footers. They're all oak. Well, actually, the third one you see there, I think, one of those is a locust because I want to get a couple pieces out of this locust. And we've got Matt doing the log rolling. We've got Alan doing the log rolling. Bruce doing the offloading for all the slab wood and stuff like that. And you can't see it, but we've got Phil down the other end with Pete and Tom and some of the other guys doing some of the offloading and the stickering. So we'll get it done. The nice thing is I like to get my hand on the stick every once in a while so I can just see how things are running. Things are running swimmingly well. What you might notice, by the way, and this is, please leave a comment what you all think. What I want to do here, we're not always doing it right. We went back today and rethought this a little bit. We always want the flat side of the log, the first flat side, down on the head block. And that we know is guaranteed flipping teed perpendicular to the saw blade. So we're going to do that. What we did today is we smartened up a little bit. You just push the knees back a little bit and then roll a log forward, and then you get the flat spot down there. Always saw with a flat spot down there because our knees wobble like crazy and they're worn and they're not always perpendicular to the saw blade. That's the learning lesson for the day. So the nice thing is about some of these smaller logs is they're relatively easy to roll around. We talked about this a little bit today. We've got a new plan. And one of the things is I'm in a light blue shirt, and you'll see Alan is in the black shirt with a reddish hat. Is that red? No, Alan's with a black shirt and a black hat. And Alan is, we were there with him today, figuring out the saw while Alan learns how to run the saw a little bit, which is kind of fun. But what we're doing here, what we want to do is the sawyer, which would be me today, the guy in the light blue shirt, I don't want to keep stepping over that piece of wood there. So what we need to do next week, and it's a little bit interesting because we're not exactly paid employees, I need to stay always on the side closest to the saw for everything I do. We've got plenty of guys here, so Matt and Alan, especially when you saw these smaller logs, can dog the logs, they can roll them, and everything else. So even when the knees need to be moved back a little bit, get Alan to do it or get Matt to do it, the guys that are sitting back there on the back end of it while they're waiting. That'll be a lot less work for the guy running the saw. So you might be wondering, what the heck are we doing here? We're just making some more 1x6 boards for the Boy Scouts. Apparently the Boy Scouts want more 1x6s. And we've got plenty of red oak. So Doug was kind enough, he's got a new MS-261 saw. You'll see that shortly, which cuts the ends off nicely. We cut them into 8-foot 6-inch logs. And now what I want to do is get a 6-inch thick cant. And once I get my cant coming right up, you'll see we can just whip through some boards. The fun part about these saws, and you'll see, this whole log takes how many minutes? 7 minutes to make a whole log into boards. Phenomenally fast. Try that with your little your bandsaw or your chainsaw mill. So one of the things you probably can't see very well, because my camera's not in the right spot, but I'll try and adjust a little bit, is when we put the dogs down, we want to pull the dogs towards us a little bit. The reason being is because there's a lot of slop in the dogs, and hopefully if it pulls the cant out a little bit away from the saw, or away from the knees I should say, that'll prevent that from happening. So I think what we're trying to do now is whenever we set the dogs, take the dog, pull it out a little bit towards yourself, and then drop into place. We sawed 2 small logs today. It worked awesome. So I think that is certainly key. Okay, so for those of you wondering, and this was kind of a small log, easy to work with, perfectly round, a little over 8 minutes, close to 9 minutes from start to finish. Squaring it up, making a cant, making, what do we make, 6 or 7 boards out of it? Not a whole lot, but they're gorgeous boards. It's a nice piece of red oak.
That's a nice log here.
Like I said, we are fortunate because we've got some really nice logs here. This log's the meat of the log, not including the sapwood, maybe 12 and a half inches, 8.5 foot long, and it's a nice red oak. And you'll see we get 2 pretty good sized cants out of it to make 6-inch fence boards, something new. It cuts well, and being round, it's really easy for everyone to move. Not hard to roll around. You can roll it on the ground, and when we've got to rotate it 90 degrees here, that works pretty well too. So you may notice when we move this log around on the head blocks how easy it slides. You just watch this here. I'll take my hips and just push it forward a little bit. It's not really hard to do. It's fresh metal. It's smooth metal. But there's a little secret. And after we get done sawing lumber every week, we spray the thing down with some WD-40. I've got some beeswax. Maybe beeswax is a good way of doing it too. But the WD-40 works great. It just makes things a whole lot smoother. Okay, so now you're wondering, what the heck am I doing here? Why don't I just cut this thing in half and get 2 cants out of it? Because it's not quite 12 inches. It's a little over 10 inches. So what we end up doing, and again, we're all kind of learning about this, is I'm going to take 1 inch at a time off this, make boards. We'll resaw the boards into stickers, because we always need stickers, or other boards. But what I'm going to do then is I'll skinny this thing down 1 inch at a time till I've got a 6-inch cant. Then we're going to flip the cant sideways and then whack out some 6-inch fence boards. Something new. Okay, so now, as promised, look at that. I've got a nice 6-inch cant. And it's actually, it doesn't look it, but it's a pretty doggone good cant. It's rectangular, as it should be. So what we'll do here is we'll take this thing, push it forward, flop it down, and we'll whack out some 6-inch boards. I imagine we can get 7 or 8 boards out of it. Maybe 10 or 12. I don't know. We'll see. Got to remember, we got a kerf on this blade. The thickness of the blade is 1/4 of an inch. We're running a smaller blade. This is a 48-inch blade, and we're using steel inserts. So we took out the carbide, and we're using steel. We looked at them today, too, by the way. They need sharpening, but they're not in bad shape. So, just finishing up this log. I don't know about you, but I'm wondering, so I assume you're wondering, exactly how long does it take to finish this log. It looks to me like we did this log in about 11 minutes, which is pretty nice. So 9 minutes for the first one, 8 minutes, 11 minutes for the second one. They're not big logs, but we've got some gorgeous boards out of here. Bottom line is, this saw cuts very quickly. 100 horsepower helps, even though it's probably only putting out 60 or 70. All right, so Doug here is going to shorten this guy up a little bit once Pete lifts him up a few feet. Get him off the ground. It's a nice red oak. He's going to cut it right where the orange piece is. With a new steel 261 cm saw, 20-inch bar. I don't know if he sharpened it yet, but let's see how she cuts. So this saw is a 462, steel 462. They make a 462 cm, computer controlled, and the 462. I love it. I haven't run it yet, but I'm just looking at it. It's about 4 horsepower, whereas the big saw we run, the 462, is close to 6 horsepower. The little baby saw, the top saw, is like 1.8 horsepower. Right in the middle of the road. It's got a 20-inch bar on it, and it cuts extraordinarily well. I like it because it's not going to fatigue you as much when you're using it if you use it all day long. A little bit lighter than the bigger type saws. And this is a commercial saw. You'll hear it when it's running. It spins a whole lot quicker, and it's a whole lot louder than most saws. Better wear your earplugs. And be careful. The casing on this saw, by the way, is magnesium. The other thing it has going for it is the little nuts, which hold the magnesium case on for the bar, are captivated nuts. So when you unscrew them, you're not going to lose them on the dirt. Again, boy, I like it. Okay, well, we've sawn a few logs, made a few boards. We're going to call it quits after 2 of these logs. We've got a few more, and we took video of all of them, so I'll just do another video. So I certainly hope you enjoyed watching this. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate you taking the time. We appreciate you leaving comments. That's how we get feedback, and that's how we make it a little bit better. So tell me what you want to see. Tell me what you don't want to see. My bad for not putting out more videos lately. Just they take a huge amount of time. And when I'm actually working, you know, it's a detraction from me getting stuff done to take videos. So I haven't done a whole lot lately. Take care. Thank you so much again.